Hey guys, welcome to our new podcast. And today we have our guest Simon with us. So Simon, he's a wonderful guy, and he has a EB-1 category green card holder, ex Tesla, ex Lyft. So let's start with Simon. Simon, please introduce yourself.
Hi, good to be with you guys. Yeah, came to the US, did my master's at Arizona State. After that, worked in the manufacturing automation industry for a couple years, then worked at Tesla for a couple years, Lyft, and then now I do a lot of robotics and self-driving vehicle development. Yeah, that's been my journey, and along the way, I faced pretty much every hurdle that any immigrant would face, uh, like even immigration, jobs, all of those, and had to uh, discover creative paths whenever such hurdles arose, and yeah, we will be talking about that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So let's talk about the journey, your journey related to the Arizona State University. Like, how did you plan for your master's from the United States, and what were the things that made Arizona State University special, or the one university from where you wanted to pursue your master's?
I wanted to So in my bachelor's, I specialized in electrical engineering, and I wanted to further that specialization in control systems because that was one of the areas that I was very interested in when I was in my bachelor's. So when I was thinking of doing my master's, that was pretty much the only area that I wanted to like get into. So given that, I was looking at different universities with like really strong controls. Curriculum, controls professors, and all of those things. And Arizona State University stood out as one of the universities where there was a really good control staff doing really good research work and all of that. And I think that was the main factor I joined ASU.
All right. So, coming to your next journey, let's talk about the Tesla part. Like when you joined Tesla, like what was the thing that drove you to join a company like Tesla? We all know that getting into a Tesla is a kind of a very big deal for most of the students, right? So, why Tesla and how Tesla? That's the question.
Mainly, I am very driven towards companies or any group of people who are doing a world changing things, and like things that have a logical and massive impact on the world, right? And probably sustainable energy is probably the most important challenge that our generation is facing, if not this entire century is facing, right? So I was that's my main motivator of joining a company like Tesla, where earlier on in my career, even I could be part of something that is larger than myself, larger than the company. Even it's on a mission to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, and working with really dynamic and energetic people that are at Tesla was a really good experience, and I consider myself fortunate to be a part of it.
Okay. So, like you said, the Tesla is the company where people are working tirelessly to innovate new things and coming up with new things, right? So, what do you think, like after 10 or 15 years, the things that Elon Musk is showing to the world right now, will it be possible in the coming 10 to 15 years? Let's say 10 to 15 years. What's your say on this?
There are a lot of things that Elon has said, in my opinion, about 5 to 10 years ago, which are very clearly possible, and you can see them happening around. Take the example of mass market electric vehicles. So you can
Yeah.
see, the Model 3 has revolutionized mass market electric vehicles, and even in general, it's just a very, very compelling vehicle, and Model Y and all those vehicles that follow,
yeah,
which lead the way to more affordable vehicles. Look at the other part of everything that he has been involved with, reusable rockets. It would have been crazy to 10 years ago see a rocket vertically land back on Earth like that, and today you can see that. So that's, I mean, I have only reason to believe that there's more exciting times that are awaited.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
These things were just imaginable and watchable on movies and only. Like now he's doing it for real, so that's great. Okay, so like we know that many of the students from the engineering background are now wanting to kind of shape their career in the managerial field, right? They are moving from the engineering field to the management field. So I think you are the perfect person to approach for this kind of question. So please tell us about your experience and how did you do all these things?
I believe for anyone who wants to move into a managerial role, at least in the technology space, I would highly encourage them to work as an engineer for a significant amount of time, if not a reasonable amount of time, because otherwise it becomes, you should be an engineer first and a manager second, even after you become a manager, because it takes a lot of effort to understand the technical nuances of the decisions you need to make as a manager, and not having worked as an engineer yourself makes it very, very hard to do that. And also, not just hard, but it ruins the amount of trust and reputation that you maintain as a manager, right? If there are people reporting into you, or
No.
in general projects that you manage, and you do not understand the technical nuances to make the decisions you need to make,
Mhm.
your credibility goes out the window right away. So that's why I highly encourage people to work in a technical capacity, gain some experience before moving into that role.
Okay, that's
Mhm.
great. Because lots of people wants to move from their engineering role to a managerial position like a project manager or program manager. So it will be helpful for them. So now coming up to the next question, you have told about Tesla. So how was your experience on Lyft and Nuro that you have been?
I think coming out of such a rigorous and world-changing environment,
Yes.
I was able to bring everything that I learned over there over my years into the companies that I subsequently joined. And I think Lyft has an amazing mission too. Lyft is the second largest ride-sharing
Hmm.
business in the US after the US,
Yes.
and is doing some great things. And I think the culture and the values that the company stands for make it a unique player in the space as well. Both from a customer standpoint as well as an employee standpoint. So that was great.
That's really great. So you are currently a green card holder, right? And it's and you got an Einstein visa. So can you tell us about how you got your EB-1A green card?
So this all started when I failed to get my H1B,
Oh,
and I was figuring out how do I, like, if like when you don't get an H1B, you start really freaking out, because
yes.
all this effort that you put in coming to the US and pursuing your education, you actually put all of those efforts in
Yeah.
from a standpoint of securing a certain level of permanency here, right?
Yes. Yes.
And being part of all this tech revolution that's happening here, or whatever you want to do with your life in the US. Um, at that time, not getting an H1B really made me start thinking very innovatively about other options.
Hmm.
I was in on one end, I was like very kind of heartbroken that okay,
Hmm.
what will happen? But on the other end, I was driven to look for very creative solutions.
Yes.
And there is a path if you are able to do really great work and rise to the top of your field,
Yes.
in a very planned manner. There is a certain path where you do not need to necessarily go the H1B route. You can go the O1 visa route, and I tried to go that route because the H1B was not working for me. And then putting all that hard
Hmm.
work, getting that done, and the O1 route. If you prepare for that enough, you also prepare yourself for the EB-1A green card route. The qualifications of both are similar. So the benefits of EB-1A route is that you do not need to be dependent on an employer to petition for you. You can do it yourself. So that is a huge added benefit. On top of that, you don't need to wait 10, 20, 30, 50 years to get your green card. You can get it in 1 year. And
Wow.
I felt that
Yes.
it is worth putting a year and a half worth of effort, directional effort in doing all the work that's required to expedite your green card situation by a couple decades. Like, who wouldn't want to do that, right?
Yes.
Right.
So as you told about this journey, so you also have your own course on how to get that EB-1A visa, I mean green card. So can you tell
Yeah.
us
So
about
this
the course a bit? Yeah.
Exactly. So this green card journey of mine has been so impactful in my case, where it just removes. I have friends. I've seen people who are stuck on H1Bs, or maybe do
Yes.
not get H1Bs and work for 12 years on H1Bs and all that, and are in the other sort of like EB2, EB3 category green card queues,
Yeah.
and all the pains that they go through, like you need to go through restamping before coming to the US. If you lose a job, then you need to be worried about your immigration status, or else you're going back home, all of those things. So I wanted to create something that will help everyone uh, prepare for this EB-1A route and then get their green card sooner, so that they don't need to worry about the immigration headache. They can just worry about doing all the best that they can do in their lives, and contributing good value. So that's basically the course that I created. You can access one
Yeah.
free lesson on
Hmm.
smartgreencard.com. And the full course actually contains every detail, every nuance you basically need to know in order to start your journey and start preparing for the EB-1A, or the EB-1A green card path, and also the O-1A green card path. So the benefits here are, you do not need to be dependent on the H1B path. You can take the
Yeah.
O1 path. So that's a significant value add, and you save
Hmm.
decades of your life later on that you would otherwise have spent waiting for a green card. So you should definitely take a look at smartgreencard.com for that.
So with this question, I would also like to add that is this for students, means who are coming to USA or who are aspiring to come to USA? Means is it easier than the H1B path, or is it much more difficult? So how you are going to compare them?
So I guess the trade-off you need to do is, do you want to go into a path that is dependent on luck? Because the H1B is basically a lottery. You need to
Yes.
win a lottery. And I have many friends who do not win the lottery 3 times in a row, and then they are out of the country and they don't know what to do, right?
Yes.
So the real question you need to be asking yourself is, do you really want to be part of a lottery? And if you do not want to be part of a lottery, and you are willing to put in about a year's worth of work, very targeted work, in preparing yourself so you can get ready for the O1, which is not a lottery, it is a merit-based evaluation, then why not?
How? Then it's definitely helpful for
Okay.
the students. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And this is
guess.
something people can prepare from. Honestly, a lot of things that I did were also coming from my undergrad days. So this is something people can use even
Okay.
from their undergrad days. And they don't necessarily, it's not necessarily for people who have already come to the US. You can take it at any time, but then you can also take it when you are in undergrad, so that you have a long time. The key here is to start early, so that you can start preparing for it and in that direction
Yes.
much sooner. Yeah.
So it's better if a student want to hold this kind of visa, then he or she should start preparing during the time of their undergrad. So it will be a much more time. Yes, as you told. Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess this is something a kind of high risk, high return kind of thing. I guess because you'll have to work
I
hard,
mean,
but then yeah,
I think the risk you're taking in, if you are only dependent on the H1B lottery, is
Yes.
that is high risk. This is relatively lower risk, high work, but high reward as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the right thing. High work and high reward. Correct. So, like coming on to the next question. This question we can say that it's coming from the side of the aspiring students who want to pursue their masters from US, right? The question is, we are all aware about this pandemic. We all know that about its effect on the country. It has also severely affected a country like United States, right? So, is it worth to apply for MS in US right now, after this pandemic and each and everything that has already happened? So what do you think about this?
I always look at the US as a land of perennial opportunity, pretty much, because if you look at the way the US has gone through the pandemic. Of course, there's a huge spike, but the way the US is recovering now, and the technological lead and other significant like economic leads that the US has maintained over any other place in the world, for that matter, in even during the pandemic, is huge. So what I'm seeing is, yes, there were layoffs during pandemics, there were
Yeah.
hiring freezes during pandemics, but I am also seeing that all the jobs that were either lost or frozen during 2020 are opening up in 2021 and 2022, and the job numbers that the government reports are looking really, really good. So that's why I am very, very optimistic about the future of the United States, and anyone who wants to pursue their job opportunities here, even after this pandemic. Yes.
This is
Okay, I
something
guess
that
this
students
this
must
question.
remember, because there are a lot of
Yeah.
people who says that now there is no as such amount of opportunities in
Job
US like
opportunities,
it used to
right?
be before. But talking with you
Let's
and
put
how
it this
you
way.
saw,
If
yes,
let's put it this way, if you are willing to work hard enough, and if you actually are good and work hard enough,
yes,
this country has a place for you.
that's the
Right.
main thing. Yes. So, do you have any tips for students who are aspiring to come to US or anything like that? The final tips.
Yeah, so I think there are two main things you need to think about. One is, what is it that you want to do, and make sure that you do the, whatever field you want to get into, right? Like, be it robotics or self-driving or data science or computer science, mechanical engineering, or EE, whatever it is, you should kind of know, not completely, it's hard to know completely when you are in an earlier stage, but relatively you should know why you kind of want to go in that field. And just because data science is hot doesn't mean that you need to go into data science, right? I am not a data scientist. I am not a data scientist, and I have made it in the self-driving and robotics industry, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you need to know why you want to, and if you pour your heart into it and understand and do things the right way, you'll definitely make it. That's one. And second, it's
yes,
very, very important to understand the underlying purpose of everything, and how you and to look at things from a bottleneck level, right? Like, for example,
hmm,
if you do great in your studies and if you get a job and everything like that, but
yes,
you haven't thought about your visa situation all along,
yes,
then, like, you are one visa situation away from making all that you have learned pretty much useless and going back, right? And you can use it in some other country, that's all definitely there, but
yeah,
this is the end game. So you need to identify what that bottleneck is, and in the case of immigrants, it's a visa, and you need to start acting proactively so that something like a visa, which is not entirely related or in the control of whatever education you've gotten, is not in the way. And that's why you need to prepare from earlier on about alternate paths, and keep those in mind. And
yes,
that's why my course will also help you.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, this was our last question, and we would like to thank Simon for sharing his experience and everything that he shared with us. And this will really help a lot of students, those who are aspiring to study or settle in US with their high dreams. So, thank you very much, Simon, once again for joining us in our podcast video. If you have anything to share with our audience, then you can say it.
No, no worries. Thank you so much for having me. Always a great time chatting with young and energetic folks. Definitely check out smartgreencard.com, and take that free lesson, see how it is, and looking forward to seeing you in the course as well and helping you secure your American dream.
Great. So can we give the link in the description of our channel so that student can
Yeah,
go and.
sure.
Okay, that's great.
Yep,
Great,
yep,
then we'll
definitely.
mention it.
Yes,
Yeah, we'll mention it in the description box.
Yeah, it's smartgreencard.com.
Yep.
sure.